In 1983, I was on the tennis advisory board for Nike. And again, they knew all the work that I'd been doing in high-speed cinematography. And Nike asked me, Claudia Craig, she's interviewed in my book, in my memoir, about this story. So that's why I'll tell the parts of the story that I can tell. She asked, we were in Colorado at a tennis advisory board meeting, and she approached me and said, Jack, can you go back to Champaign, Illinois, where I was on the faculty? And she said, can you get your camera and can you go to San Francisco to take some films at the Transamerica Open at the Cow Palace in San Francisco? And I said, sure, what's going on? And she goes, well, John McEnroe is having some ankle trouble, and he's obviously, this is pre-Michael Jordan. John's the most famous athlete in the world at the time now. And this is not a good thing for Nike that John's got some ankle problems and some concerns. So I literally said, yes, I can do it, but I don't even know what I'm looking for. I mean, do you see what I'm getting at? So I go to San Francisco. The whole team from Nike's there, the director of R&D, the director of promotions, there's industrial design people there, and little old me. Meet John, talk about what we're going to do. And that night I shoot films of John playing. And he fell that night. And I got it in high-speed film. And what happened was that as his foot dropped, the toe of his shoe got caught. It was indoor carpet. It was that carpet. In other words, he was almost too quick. John was so quick. A lot of people don't realize how athletic John was. He was not only an artist, but he was very, very quick. But his toe got caught. And we got the films developed overnight, and I met with the director of R&D and promotions, and I'm explaining what I'm seeing. And they're going, what do you think? What do you think we could do? And right away I go, well, would John wear a high top? Don't think so. Would he tape his ankles more? I mean, no, don't think so. All right. Well, let me think about it. And then they had a box of shoes. Anyway, John chose a pair of shoes. It was an accident. And this is written about this is public knowledge, what I'm going to say right now. The pair of shoes that John tried on, it was an accident. They weren't supposed to be in the box. Now, and I'm going to tell you what they were in just a second.
Okay.
So John says, I'm going to wear these tonight. They weren't even supposed to be there. And everybody from Nike, John leaves the room with the shoes. He's going to wear them. And I said to the Nike team, I said, what do you want me to do? And they said, go ahead and go to the Cow Palace and shoot films again tonight. Let's just see. So I shoot films. He didn't fall that night, but yet his movement was the same, but he didn't fall. And I'm looking at the high-speed films and I'm going, well, that's interesting, because the shoe that he was wearing didn't seem that it would be doing that. And what happened, I met with the team and they were blown away, because what it was, that was the first moment the three-quarter top shoe was ever worn in the game of tennis. That was the three-quarter top shoe. It was really a racquetball shoe. And John wore it and loved it. And then John went on to design his own model. I mean, it's really a cool story. All I did was affirm that it worked. That's all I did. That was my only role.